Why don't people watch baseball anymore? There's a lot of reasons why people don't watch baseball anymore. First of all, there's no characters in baseball like they used to have. I don't know, the personalities are just lame now, man. Because you remember back in the day, like back in the 70s, you had flamboyant personalities, man. You had Reggie Jackson, Pete Rose, guys like Gaylord Perry, Lou Piniella, Earl Weaver, Mark Fidrich. Those guys don't really exist anymore, man. Players today, man, they act like robots, man. So, a lot of the fans can't identify with the players today, man, because a lot of them, I hate to say it, man, a lot of the players are lame, man. They got lame personalities. They're not, there's really no household names like there was back in the 70s. Like everybody knew who Reggie Jackson was. Everybody knew who Pete Rose was. Everybody knew who Mike Schmidt was. And the so-called superstars today, a lot of people have never heard of them. There's a lot of people, your average person has no idea who Mike Trout is. But back in the 80s and 70s, an average person knew who Pete Rose was. Everybody knew who Pete Rose was. Everybody knew who Reggie Jackson was. So the Major League Baseball does a poor job of promoting its stars. A lot of the players, the superstars, a lot of the stars in the baseball today, you don't really see them on commercials. You don't hear about them in the news. They have quiet personalities. So that's one reason why people don't watch baseball anymore. The star power is low. Another reason people don't watch baseball anymore is because there's no anticipation for the All-Star game like there was back in the 80s, 70s, 60s. And the reason for that is because we now have interleague play. So there's no anticipation to see the stars of both leagues play against each other, because we see it all the time with the interleague play. Back in the day there was no interleague play, so the only way you could see interleague play, the stars of each division play each other, was the All-Star game. So you marked your calendar for the All-Star game because you were intrigued by the interesting matchups, man. Guys like, when Roger Clemens was playing for the Red Sox, you were interested to see him pitch against Will Clark when he played for the Giants. You were interested to see Nolan Ryan when he was playing for Texas. You were interested to see him pitch against Darryl Strawberry, when he was playing for the Mets. So with interleague play, there's really no reason to watch the All-Star game because, you already seen the stars of both leagues play against each other. So the All-Star game is kind of obsolete. Another reason why people don't watch baseball anymore is because Fox now has the game of the week, and the broadcasters they have broadcasting baseball, they're not really baseball broadcasters, man. Because you remember when Vince Scully, guys like Joe Garagiola, when those guys were like true baseball announcers when they were doing the game of the week on NBC back in the 70s and 80s. And those guys are legendary. And the guys that got doing baseball now, man, they're not really baseball announcers. Guys like Joe Buck. Joe Buck is more of a football announcer. So the game of the week, it's on Fox. And Fox is not really a baseball. It's not really a baseball channel, man. Because you remember when NBC had baseball, you had the iconic theme song. You had the iconic pregame show. The pregame show for Fox baseball, man, is lame. It's lame. There's no iconic theme song. There's nothing to identify with, man. Kids, there's nothing that can stick in your mind, and there's nothing memorable about Fox baseball, man. And it's a terrible broadcast, and I feel like Fox doesn't really broadcast the game of the week for baseball every week. Like NBC, when NBC had the game of the week, they had a game of the week every weekend. Fox does a game of the week like once every 5 weeks, it feels like. Another reason why people don't watch baseball anymore is because ESPN doesn't really talk about baseball anymore, man. Because remember back in the day when they had Baseball Tonight, they had shows like Baseball Tonight, Baseball Magazine, and then you go into super stations, they had This Week in Baseball. There's really no shows like that anymore for baseball, man. And as a kid, man, I grew up watching This Week in Baseball, man. I used to set my calendar, I used to set my alarm to watch those shows, man. Those were some great shows, man. This Week in Baseball, Baseball Tonight on ESPN. Those shows are iconic, man. And, it was very informative, those shows were. Very, very popular shows. The theme songs were very popular. Mel Allen, there's no shows like that anymore, man. There's nothing kids now can hang their hat on, man. So once ESPN got rid of Baseball Tonight, man, baseball is pretty much fucking dead, man. And now they got these stupid early morning ESPN shows that talks about nothing. They don't talk about nothing but LeBron James, the Lakers. They don't say crap about baseball, man. They don't talk about baseball anymore. Everything's basketball, football. Everything's basketball, football. Everything's Tom Brady this, Tom Brady that. LeBron James this, LeBron James that. What type of toilet paper does LeBron James use? Stupid stuff like that. So they don't. Those shows like First Take, First Things First, Undisputed. They don't say nothing about baseball. So, that's one reason people don't watch baseball anymore. Another reason why people don't watch baseball anymore is because there's too many damn teams in the playoffs, man. They got this stupid wild card crap. There's really no anticipation for the playoffs anymore. People don't really watch the playoffs like they used to. Because you remember back in the day, like winning the National League East or winning the National League West was the big deal. Now winning the division is not a big deal because there's freaking like 40 divisions in baseball now, man. So I remember back in the 80s, winning the division was a huge deal. Winning the pennant was a huge deal. And now there's like 50 teams in the damn playoffs. Half of the time you don't know what channel the damn games come on. There's just too many playoff games on TV, man. And with baseball, less is more, man. Less is more. You know, because you remember back in the day, man, like when there was only what, 4 divisions back in the day, man. There was only 4 divisions back in the day. You either won your division or you didn't go to the playoffs, and people liked it like that. But now, I guess Major League Baseball has to make money, has to find ways to make money. So now they're adding all these extra teams in the playoffs. And now winning the division is not a big deal. The stupid wild card game. They try to put the emphasis on winning the division by creating this 1-game wild card game. That doesn't really help, man. It's not the same. It's not the same. It's still not the same, man. Like they had this Red Sox Yankees game on a couple days ago. A lot of people didn't watch that shit, man. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't now. If they were both fighting for the division, and if it was a 1-game playoff, like it was in 1978, it would be a huge deal. But now, because there's fucking 25 teams in the playoffs, why would I want to watch it? A playoff game is just another playoff game. But back in the day, a playoff game was a playoff game because it was a huge deal to win your division. There's just too many divisions, too many playoff teams. It's pointless to watch it. The playoffs. It's overkill. It's overkill because there's so many teams, and there's so many channels, there's so many playoff games, and this and that. You know, back in the day, winning the division was it. Winning the pennant was it. But there's just no need to watch playoff games anymore because there's so many games on. It's pointless to watch a playoff game. Another reason, kind of take it back to the All-Star game, like what I said, the World Series is not important like it used to be. There's no anticipation for the World Series now because there's interleague play. There's interleague play now. So what's the point of watching the World Series? There's really no point of watching the World Series, man, because there's interleague play, and like let's say if the Mets play the Mariners in the World Series, if you've seen them already play in regular season, why would I want to watch them in the World Series? It's pointless. So there's no anticipation for the World Series anymore. The World Series doesn't really mean anything like it did in the 80s, 70s, 60s. The World Series was a big deal. So baseball can get back to being the national pastime if they get rid of the extra divisions, get rid of the extra playoff teams, get rid of interleague play. And another thing, man, there's no rivalries in baseball, man. There's no rivalries in baseball like there was back in the 70s and 80s. They trying to make this Red Sox Yankees a rivalry. That's not really a rivalry, man. That's not a rivalry. You know,